Hello, I'm Jen.
That smells amazing. What's wine?
Hello, I'm Jen.
My name's Rachel.
Welcome to our channel. We are Whisky Geeks.
Not whiskey snobs.
So if you like all things whiskey,
And you're not a snob,
subscribe. We thought we would do a little bit on whiskey pronunciations today. Lots of people come into the shop and want to know how things are pronounced or mispronounce things.
Yep. There's no shame in it. I've mispronounced many things.
Oh, same.
And one of the awkward things about distilleries is,
They're Gaelic.
and Gaelic pronunciation, like sometimes a B and a H makes a V, but sometimes not.
Yep, and there's not really any rules, you just kind of have, because they're all, Gaelic has different dialects from different areas as well, and it can vary from like one neighbouring island to the next, so you kind of just have to let people tell you on the island or in the area how it's pronounced. So, shall we go for some and see?
Do you have any Lafrog?
Lafrog or Lafreog.
Wow.
Oh, Lafroig.
Yes.
Lafroig.
Lafroig.
It's good we try to do that all.
Do at the same time. I don't know if that means something either, Lafroig.
Oh, it will
Check
do, but
that
I
out.
can't remember. Yeah, we can check that one.
Glenfiddich.
Glenfiddich. You're not Harry Potter. You're not playing Quidditch.
You're from Scotland, so you're playing Glenfiddich.
Glenfiddich. Like,
Yeah, like
Loch.
That's it. That's it.
We are the same
That's
person.
it. Two sides of the same coin.
If you want an unpeated Isla, you could have a Bunnahabane.
But a bean. So that's one of the examples where a B and a H does make a V.
Yeah.
So for Bunnahabhain. Some people do say Bunnahabhain. Bunnahabhain. I feel
think
like
you can go either. So
yeah.
I just know in this area, so lots of people so I don't know whether this is Gaelic or not, but actually I know from this area there's lots of family names and lots of street names. Buchanan Street, for example, in Glasgow. Buchanan, the name, is lots of people will pronounce it Buchanan, which is wrong, it's Buchanan. So that's my reference for that one, but that is a different area, different dialect, so it might not be right. So that's why I say Bunnahabhain rather than Bunnahabhain.
So either will be acceptable, I think.
That means mouth of the river. So the
Gaelic word.
Avon bit means river. So Bunna would be the mouth of the river.
Right. I had what? We've discussed this one already, but Tomatin.
Tomatin. No,
Tomatin.
it's like tomatoes. It's tomatin.
Yep. And that's one I've had people correct me on a lot, actually. But not...
They just can't get it at all.
They don't say, oh, sorry, is it not Tomatin? They go, yes, Tomatin. And I'm like, yes, tomatin.
Oh, there's the slightly Frenchified one as well. Glenmorangie. Or Glenmorangie. This is another one you can use a fruit as reference. It's orangey, so it's Glenmorangie.
That's how I remember that, because I'm sometimes not sure, because I was brought up, my dad saying Glenmorangie.
It's hard to get it wrong now, isn't it? Glenmorangie. No, Glenmorangie.
Like orangey. Yes, the box used to be orangey.
Yeah.
And it still is.
I think it still is,
It's orangey. Kalila. It is Isla.
So if you're from, if you speak Gaelic, the island of Isla is called Ila. So it's Kalila.
Yep. Isla. And that's Sound of the River?
Sound of Isla. Ladaig. So that's a weird one where the D becomes a J.
Yep.
Leitchig.
Which you wouldn't know unless you heard someone say it.
Because there are places called Ladaig on the mainland that are pronounced Ladaig, but the pronunciation Leitchig is particular to the Isle of Mull.
So that is a trickier one, to be fair.
Bruichladdich.
Which is confusing, because they've kind of done what you're meant to do with Glenfiddich. And apply the same rule, but it doesn't actually apply in that case.
This is where the rules don't always apply.
So Bruichladdich, it's Bruichladdich.
Bruichladdich. So you don't go Bruich, it's Bruch. But a lot of pronunciation guides will say Bruichladdich, but that's where you're maybe not able to say the so it's Bruichladdich. Oh, I've heard Deanston, our local one, pronounced as Denniston. That's a very different place.
Very different place, Denniston and Deanston. Actually, probably similar in some ways.
Denniston is a part of the East End of Glasgow, which is traditionally quite rough.
Did Lewis Capaldi live there for a bit?
I think so, yeah.
Aye.
It's kind of up and coming now, though. So
yes, it's
probably quite nice to say you live in Denniston.
Gentrified.
Whereas Deanston's got a good bit and a not so good bit.
Yeah.
Lake Lomond.
Lake Lomond.
Lake Lomond. There's only one lake in Scotland, and it's not Lake Lomond.
Lake of Menteith.
It's Lake of Menteith. It's Loch Lomond. Lagavulin.
I've
had that recently and I could not fathom what it was. Lagavulin. Like a javelin. It's Lagavulin.
Yep. Alt Abahain.
Alt Abahain is Altavania. Altavania. So that means burn of milk. Alt is a stream or a burn, and Banya is milk.
That's leads us on.
Banya or Vanya.
Torabhaig. That's a V. BHV.
Glengarioch. So that's another one where you're using the that you think you should be using, but it's actually Glengarry. And that one is probably slightly Gaelic, but it's also possibly a little bit more Doric as well, because it's up in the northeast, Aberdeenshire. So that's not Garioch, it's Glengarry.
And you wouldn't possibly know that unless someone told you that, or you looked it up. Like, that's impossible.
Some people also try and they call it Glengarry. That's half an attempt. That's all right, but it's Glengarry. The Glasgow one.
People often go the Glasgow Distillery. And I've
heard Auchentauchen as well. I've heard people consistently, after me pronouncing it for them, still call it Auchentauchen. But it's Auchentauchen.
Auchentauchen.
Means corner of the field, which I think is particularly nice. I feel like it'd be nice to sit in the corner of a field and have a wee dram.
Yep, definitely. That's the only. Is that the only distillery that triple distills fully in Scotland?
Yep. That fully triple distills in 3 different stills.
Yep. As opposed to doing like a
as
wee
opposed
half
to
one
there are a few. Well, there's some that triple distill fully, but not in 3 different stills. So they've got 3 different stills set up. 1, 2, 3.
Oban.
It's Oban.
It's more like it's an
Oban.
It's
more like
Oban.
a bin
Rather than a ban.
Like, where shall I put this? Oban.
Yeah.
Bin that. Oban.
Not in the ban.
Not in the Oban. Put it in the Oban.
Puntney.
Or I've also heard Old Pulteney.
Yeah.
Old Pulteney. It's just Old Pulteney.
Old Pulteney. Tullibardine.
They are owned by a French company.
So you could be forgiven for thinking
Tullibardine.
Macallum.
We always get people asking for a Macallum. Macallum. No, sorry, I've not heard of it, but can I interest you in a Macallum?
Macallum. There's an N, it's not an M.
It's like Alan.
Yeah.
Alan. So thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our video. Please subscribe for more like this and join us again next time. Slange. Cheers. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our video. If you did, please give it a like and a subscribe. And you can follow us on social media at The Grail Tastings. See you next time. Slange.
One that is not necessarily wrong, it's just particularly hilarious. Chavasse Regal. You're making it awful. It's very fancy.
Awful fancy,
Chavasse Regal. Chivas Regal, but that's just an accent thing, I suppose.
Yeah,
Different emphasis.
Yeah.
Regal.